All right, Eric Becker, you're back on the show. How's everything going, man?
Going good. You, sir?
I'm doing really, really well. I can't complain, and if I did,
no one would care.
No one would care. That's right. No one would care. Not maybe my dog or something like that. That's about it. But so we're back in the studio. You came in, you said, "Wow, everything's changed." So you remind me, you were on the show before, but it wasn't on this set. It was different. Is that correct?
Yep, we filmed it at my office.
Oh, at your office.
Only.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Wow, that's been a minute. So was that like
4 years ago? Yeah.
Okay, 4 years ago. Yeah, that's been a minute. That might have been in the first round of interviews that I did for this show, because I started those. I think you were running against Philip Ferguson back then. And I think Philip might have been my second episode. My first one was just me, just talking about what's going on and what my plans were for the show. And then the second was him, and you might have been third or fourth, like right in there.
I think
close.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, real close. So it's been a minute. So what do you think? You can see stuff now. Not everybody can see the whole set. They can only see like what's behind us. Obviously, the whole room is not like this. You know, we got lights and a camera and stuff like that. So, but what do you think about it?
I think it's great.
It's pretty good, doesn't it? Turned out pretty good.
Turned out really good.
We just did a little facelift on it because I don't know what color you call it. It was kind of some orange color. It was, Celina and all that stuff. But it didn't really speak to me the way that I, wanted it to. So I got this crazy idea. I wanted it blue. And I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not terribly disappointed with it. So we're not doing headphones. We're not doing audio only. We're doing video, obviously. And the reason we're sitting here today and talking is because what?
Running for mayor.
Running for mayor. Yep. And that's a big step. That's not a little thing.
Nope.
That's a really, really big thing. So I'm very curious, what in the world led you to making the decision to run for mayor of Celina, Texas?
I think the biggest thing is the overall direction the city's been in the last 3 and even plus years than that. I just don't think we're headed in the right place. We've lived here 20 some odd years now, 18, 20 something years now. And I think I want to go back to what it was. I get we can't ever be a small town. We have a Costco coming. It is reality, okay? And there's going to be a time that even some of the stuff on the square has to be moved to the park or to Wilson Creek Park and these new places. But keeping that part of it and the downtown piece and the charm alive, why everyone moved here.
Okay, so you've got my curiosity. You said you don't like the way things are going right now. So let's dive down on that just a little bit. Like, in what ways?
I think we are focusing too much on the retail and the actual big box stores. While I think the growth on that side is necessary for our sales tax base and sales tax leakage, I mean, I'll be the first to say, Lowe's is open here. I shop at Ace primarily. I being a small business owner, I like to go to the mom and pop where the owners. They don't have all the stuff, so you got to go buy it someplace instead of driving to whether down to Prosper or Frisco. We're going to the actual Lowe's here. So I think you need that stuff, but that can't be the ultimate focus. You have to look at, why did everyone move here? And they moved here for the festival events, the small town atmosphere, walking in to shops and restaurants and knowing people there, meeting the owners and knowing them. And we're still in a place where we can keep that alive. Local cities around here don't have it. Frisco being an example, they're downtown. It's a downtown. There's a major road in it. You can't walk it. McKinney's probably the next closest thing, but with the courthouse being there, breaks up their square. We're one of the few, I might say the only few, I've heard multiple numbers about it or deciding factors, is that doesn't have an actual courthouse on the square, which opens it up and gives it to us. And we just have to find a way to keep that actual spirit alive and to keep people why they actually moved here.
So you have two opponents, although I would possibly argue maybe only one who has actually engaged so far. Ryan Tubbs, who is the incumbent right now, And then there's somebody named Erica, who's also Cornelius, who is also running. And I haven't seen a whole lot from her, so I don't know a whole lot. She didn't do the question and answer on the Best of Celina. You did. Ryan Tubbs did. So, obviously I've known you guys for some time. But she did not decide to do that. So all I know is just the limited, stuff that I've seen out there. Do you know anything about her, or do you know what's going on there?
I do not. I truly thought I bought into the whole, as the running joke, she's an actual AI candidate and might not actually exist.
Right.
I saw some photos of her putting up signs yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So she does exist. My biggest thing is she doesn't answer questions whenever they're asked, and then people speak for her. Her people speak for her.
I have seen that. I have seen that.
People, it's me. You have a question? Ask me. Who's putting up my signs? It's me. It's
right.
I mean, it's
right.
Yeah, I just
understand.
don't. We're a small enough town still. You don't have campaign staff and people, and
yeah, it's interesting. So you truly have Ryan Tubbs as an opponent, and obviously he's in office right now. So is it safe for me to assume that you're not satisfied with his performance?
I would say yes. I would say it's his performance in that. Personally, I don't have any problems with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aside from, like, strictly speaking politically, are there any specific details, like things that, like, well, here's an example. Here's something that I disagree with that he's done or supports or whatever, or is it more just in general?
I think it's more just the general overall piece. It's no one item. It's just the culminate, like a lot of things. No one thing was the cultivator of a lot of problems. It's just when you pile them all together, you then get to that point.
I gotcha. So as we move forward right now, how far are we out from the election now? We're what?
3 weeks.
Gosh, is it really that close?
Yeah, I think, because the second, we're the 7th, so yeah, 3 weeks.
Wow, it is very, very close. It's super, super close. Okay.
It's gonna be a very long 3 weeks though.
So talk to me. We're gonna kind of bounce around on all different kinds of things because just in I guess now 4 or so years of doing this, it seems like whenever you just kind of get on one thing and you stay on that one thing, people kind of check out if that's not their thing. But when you bounce around, they'll hang around because they want to see if you're going to ask something else like that. So try to follow me a little bit as I bounce around a little bit, okay? It's a little bit because of my ADD, and it's a little bit because of the fact that I think that it makes it more interesting. So you have been in Celina now for how long?
I'd have to do the exact math. I think we're at that 18 to 20 year mark, somewhere on there.
So you've been here for a long time. Yep, for a long, long time. And you said you've got a small business, and I know about it, but let's tell everybody else about your small business.
So I've got two actual businesses here in town. All automation integration is my longest running one. We're at 20 years. We're at 27 years now on that. While we primarily started doing home AV, it's no longer our primary focus on it. On the home side, we are still doing burglar alarms and cameras and hanging TVs and smart home thermostats and all that. The core of the business has switched into the actual small bit business side. I tell people the Walmarts and Home Depots of the world aren't our clients there.
Okay,
it's the mom and pop businesses. For example, Silos downtown was one we finished up. We did all the high voltage, the electrical there. We did all the AV, the outdoor TV, the sound system, the speakers, the cameras. That's kind of our niche.
So it started off doing more of like the residential, whatever that is. I'm just going to kind of make a guess here, like setting up like Wi-Fi, maybe home security, stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
And now, so you've leveled up from that, but you're still not to like the big box. You're not doing the Walmart. You're not doing that sort of thing. So what's the second business?
Second business is a line of firearms. We branded under that name probably only 2 or 3 years ago. We've had our FFL, Federal Firearms license, a little over 10 actual years though now. Primarily at this point, we're still mail order. We have an actual website. We do a lot of transfers. Tell me whatever it is you want, we'll get it. With the Class 3 changes on silencers and short barrels and all that, with the tax stamp price going away, we're doing a lot of those.
So talk to me about that real quick. What do you mean the changes on Class 3 and silencers? What is that?
Yep. So prior to January 1st of this year, everyone had to pay an actual tax fee, $200 per actual item, per silencer, per short barrel rifle, per any other weapon, a whole bunch of other stuff. And January 1st, the law has changed, and that has actually gone away. There's still a licensing side on it, which there's lawsuits out the gazillion right now going through the courts, because you were only allowed to collect people's information and create an actual database of the gun owners because of the tax. Well, if there's no tax, the argument is, well, now you can't legally collect all of my actual info.
Right.
So that piece. But the plan is, we've recently bought 3 acres behind Brookshire's, and when we move our business there, is to open an actual retail store at the same time.
Wow, that's really nice. That's exciting too. Being a former law enforcement officer, I'm very, very obviously, as that culture generally is, into guns and stuff like that. So that's really, really good news, and I'm excited for that for you. I think that'll be awesome. I don't know anything about the AV stuff other than what you see right here, and I don't know a whole lot about that. But so talk to me about. So you've been here for some time. Tell me a little bit about your family. You're married.
Yep.
You've got kids.
Married. Yep.
Tell us a little bit.
Married a college girlfriend, University of Texas. We both went to. Lived in Frisco for a year. Went on search for an acre of land. Didn't know much about Celina at the time, and we ended up here and quickly fell in love with it. Two actual girls now. One is in 10th grade, our oldest, and then the youngest one is in sixth grade.
Oh, wow. Okay, very good. And so if I remember, you had the business out on Rawhide out there. Is that still there?
That is there. And so that's part of it is, we talk about growth coming to Celina, and we're all for it. And I'm not necessarily for the growth. It's going to happen, but I am suffering and paying the price of that growth. There's a road being built through our office.
Oh, really?
So that's why we had to find new land. We were prepared to stay where we were forever. Loved the spot. Legacy Hills was built across the street. I got 10,000 homeowners right outside my front door, but unfortunately the roads have to grow, and that's part of it.
Part of what they call progress.
Yes.
Yeah, and it is rough, and a lot of people there's a lot of people here who want to, they got here, and very few of us. I know of maybe Brandon Grumbles. Brandon.
Yep.
Brandon, I think he's been here pretty much all his life, and he's like 3rd generation or something. There's a handful of people who've been Celina, residents their whole life, but very, very few of us didn't come here at some point and decide at that point, now we're here, we're Celina people, and have some desire to wish that other people don't keep showing up, right? I mean, that's kind of how it is, because you want to keep everything that you were saying, that small town feel, all that stuff, you want that. And if you've been here for 20 years, I've been here for 33, we remember it in a little different way than how it is today. So when you have those two groups, the one that says, hey, how do we close the door? How do we slow down the growth? How do we do all that? And then the other people that are kind of, maybe they've come to terms with it. It's growing. There's nothing we can do. How do you address each of those groups? What do you say to the ones that say, I don't want anybody else coming in here? How do you talk to them? What do you say?
So I think there's a couple pieces to it. A, Texas is an actual landowner rights state. Texas is an actual landowner rights state. So there's nothing you do about it. It's very limited what you can do. Landowners have a right to build and to go forth. So it is a balance, and it's just doing it in a way that is smart. You have the people that say, "Oh, we should only allow acre lots and 2 acre lots, and we should only allow this business and that business." Those aren't necessarily decisions that the city gets to truly make. Can you? Yes. But at the same time, you're gonna end up with people not annexing in the city, these massive neighborhoods, they're gonna be built, and you don't have any control over them. And so you end up worse off. They're going to go to the library. They're going to show up to our city events. They're going to drive on our roads. They're going to use our police. They're going to use our actual fire department and our services and not pay any taxes in. So you're better off giving up a little to get them to come into the actual city. That's part of it. And I jokingly say to people, there's a post up on Facebook this past week of this actual cute little girl on an actual fence line staring at the actual longhorn and saying, "Please don't ever let them go away." And I joke with these people because it's like, what did you think was where your house is 3 actual years ago? I mean, Legacy Hills developing across from our office. A year ago, there were cows on the property.
Right.
There's now like 1,000 homeowners living there. So it's like, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, not that you're part of the problem. I don't want to say you're part of the problem because you're not. Everyone moves here for it.
Right.
But it's finding out how do you keep it the same. Why did you moved here because of the cows and the longhorns? Well, unfortunately, a lot of these legacy landowners and families that I know very well, this is the actual pinnacle. They've been working 2, 3, 4 generations long for this.
Right. And now they're cashing out, selling their land. At one point might have been, well, I remember this. Just think about this. It wasn't that long ago. I'm going to say maybe, if I'm thinking correctly, about the time I started this podcast, I helped some people get land over there between, just off of Business 289, Louisiana, okay? Just off that over in there. So between the Tollway and Preston, in, what would be a really good area, $35,000 an acre. Bought 10 acres for $350,000. That was just, like I said, not very many years ago. You couldn't touch anything up here now for that. There's just no way. A good average acre up here right now is $180,000, $200,000. So, it's getting very pricey. And let's just say you were one of those legacy landowners and you've got 60 acres. And all of a sudden now that acreage is worth, $180,000, $200,000 an acre. I mean, can you really blame them for wanting to sell it? Because like you said, they have the opportunity right now to take this land that's really not ever had any real high value. They may have bought it for $3,500 an acre or even less way back when. And now all of a sudden, they have the opportunity to make millions of dollars. And I don't know of too many people that would turn that down.
No, and I think the price of the land has everything to do with the pocket and where it's at. I mean, I'm not going to say what we paid for land behind Brookshire's, but one plot over from us, there's 7 acres. They just listed for $750 an acre.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and will they get it today? No, but
it's
a price of this is the price. Come bring us an offer.
Everybody puts that pie in the sky number on it. I do a lot of commercial and land deals and stuff, and yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. What's really ironic? Here's something that's really interesting. I don't know if you've seen this, but sometimes you can have a commercial piece of land, and it'll go on at a certain price per acre. And over time, and I mean time, because they're not all motivated to sell it quick. They don't list it and do it like you do a residential home. Hey, if we haven't sold this and closed in 45 days, then something's wrong. They don't do it like that. It might be a year or 2 or 3, and the price goes up. They don't lower it because it's not selling. They raise it. It's a whole different ballgame out there when you're talking about people who are selling this land. So it's not the same as residential. So yeah, they're how much? $750 an acre you said over there? Absolutely, and it might be $1 million in a few months.
Yeah. So we knew 2 to 3 years ago that the road was going to come to our office, and we're still probably 5 years from the road showing up. But we know they don't make more land. Price only going up. So we started looking 2 to 3 years ago, and God bless the actual realtor we use. They put their effort in, and in fact, at the end of the day, on the last deal that we finally bought, they tried to actually cut her out of the deal.
Oh, really?
And I was like, no, we ain't playing these
Right.
games. She's put her actual work into to this deal. She's earned this check.
Good.
No questions about it.
Good.
But and now we ran in that. And my fascination with it as we're going through was they won't negotiate. Yeah, here we got 2 acres. We want $1 million. Okay, what about 900,000 and you pay closing costs? No, it's $1 million.
Right.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
And their answer is, we don't have to sell.
Exactly.
I'll be here till the dawn of time. I don't have to sell. I am just fine.
So what do you think about, and this is going to sound crazy, but downtown, obviously now we're seeing similar things happen to downtown. I know you already know because I told you earlier what we paid for this house, and it's excessive. It's really excessive because if you take this house, this little piece of property, and put it in, just a normal place where that's not growing as fast as Celina is and doesn't have the, prognosticated future that we have here, then, this might be a $250,000 house maybe. It's got the little piece of property next to it, so It's 2 lots. It's a decent size, but it's, I don't know, 1945-ish, something like that build. It's been around for a minute, but it's changing. The value of these things is going up extraordinarily. So that number that I told you, we've received over twice that doubled plus more and turned it down because we know it's even going to go beyond that. And I think what's going on downtown is everybody's planning on Celina being something absolutely amazing, and so there's a lot of investors coming in buying properties and stuff like that. But how do you feel about like downtown and places like this? You asked me when you walked in, what are our plans for this? Well, we want to turn this into a restaurant. When I first bought it, we've got a 400-car parking garage coming in. It was in the books. We knew it was going to be sometime down the road. And there's just not a lot of property very, very close to the square. And with this lot next door, we can do quite a big, area outside. We could do something like the yard in McKinney or something like that. I don't know if you're familiar with that. With all of that going on, how do you see downtown building out and finishing? Is it very parallel to, like you said, McKinney, or is it different than that?
I think it's different than that. I see a lot of the houses staying and occupying the houses and turning them in. One thing I learned that Grapevine has done, if you've got a historic home and you want to sell it and be gone with it, the city of Grapevine will probably end up buying the house. Even if it isn't close to their downtown, they will pick that house up and move it to downtown.
Wow.
Move it closer to downtown, get it on their, I don't even know if they have a true square, but get it into that downtown section, and then they'll sell. And then the EDC, I'm assuming, is actually doing, not the actual city themselves, and then they'll get it sold. Which makes sense because it allows you, at that point, it does allow the city, the EDC, to control who actually moves into it. You do get a little bit more, but I am all for the actual growth of downtown to a point as can be helped, keeping the chains out. I do not want to see an actual Starbucks downtown. I can't say I was necessarily against Babe's chicken showing up in the actual Forge building. As much as I'm sad to see the Forge gone. Right. I don't consider Babe's to be a chain. So it's still a mom and pop owned place.
Absolutely.
I think the square is special, and it's keeping it together and finding the right mix of things that work, and making sure we don't forget about the stuff that is just off of the actual square, even if it's just a block, whether it be the wick or grannies, even making sure all of that stays in to be a part of it. And it's developing those last small pieces to get it all brought together as part of the projects going on, getting sidewalks installed and drainage and fixing the roads. It's all a part of it. Is it a process? Yes. And thankfully the process has been underway for a very long time now to get there. People don't want to believe it's been underway, but it truly has. Massive drainage projects don't just happen overnight, don't happen in 2 or 3 years. It's been under development for a long time.
Right. And we have kind of come into this more rapid growth phase with a lot of infrastructure issues. And like you said, rainwater, the stormwater runoff, all that stuff has been an issue. Downtown has been struggling a little bit with electrical issues. Yep. That's like a big time Encore thing. And I guess we're working through all of those issues as we can. How did you feel about the bond deal for the parking garage? Were you in agreement with that or not in agreement with doing that?
I think because of decisions that were prior made, there wasn't necessarily a choice. And I foresee a second parking garage having to be built on the eastern side, whether that's on the lumberyard lot or, won't get into the current owner, but the lot between where Rollertown was and the silos, some kind of mixed use, and not necessarily even a straight parking garage, but some type of public use parking lot with an actual mixed use space. Because decision was made by the city years ago that businesses downtown are not responsible for parking, and it makes sense. You go build Bojangles or Pickleman's or Starbucks or any of those places, they're required to have X number of spots per square footage, per restaurant, whatever they think is going to be used. Downtown, you're responsible to provide 0 spots. So those people have to park someplace. And so I think parking garage is one. There's been talks about the actual where the actual what was the lumber yard, that lot by Mangiamo's going away and becoming retail space. I think that's a huge loss, because where you get people that are truly fickle. Oh, I want to run into Annie Jack's for something real quick. I want to run into Willow House for something real quick. Oh, I can go to the parking garage and park on the 4th floor over there and then walk. They're not going to do it, especially with the ultimate vision of the inner part of the square closing to cars. So now you're losing all those parking spots. And so I think you need something on both sides to make it happen.
So you think that keeping that space, which you're calling the lumber yards over there, or the space kind of, I guess, what is that on the corner of, what is that, Louisiana and Pecan?
Yeah.
Okay. So right there, kind of, you've got Bobcat Country, the convenience store there, and kind of in that vicinity, for people who don't know what we're talking about, you would be in agreement then with putting a parking garage there, not retail.
I'm not sure I'm in the notion of a parking garage. I don't have enough facts to know it.
Or maybe not, because you said people aren't going to want to park on the 4th floor and walk over, but some sort of parking.
Correct. And maybe it is retail. The current rumor I've heard on it, and it is strictly a rumor, is that it would be essentially retail only and no parking. So now, where are the people that are going to shop there even supposed to park?
Right.
And now when, Papa Gaza, we go to Papa Gaza Friday nights. You want to find me on a Friday night? Papa Gaza is where you'll find us. Where am I supposed to park? We do have some actual secret spots. I'm not going to share my little my actual spots.
They won't be there after this, if you tell. Right.
But we have little spots we can find to go park. But even those aren't going to exist. It's little vacant pieces of property that are going to actually develop out. I think it's some mixed use is what ultimately has to actually be there.
I gotcha. I understand. So knowing about this house, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit right here. Knowing where we are, it takes me, when I walk out the front door of this particular house, and for people who don't know, and I think most people do, the little electric blue, I call it, house right across the street from the big parking garage, just down from Heyday and all of those places. We're just down from that. Actually on Walnut. It takes me 1 minute at my speed with a almost non-existent sidewalk right now to walk from here to the front door of Heyday down there. Okay. So how do you feel about something like this being, like what I said, a restaurant? Would you support that, or would you not agree that that's a good use for this?
I would support it wholeheartedly. I think we need more things downtown, more actual variety, more options. I joked it's a fried chicken place, a good. I'm a fried chicken. I love fried chicken. So, but I've tried cooking at home, and frying food is just an absolute pain. So I'm not doing that part at home.
Right.
And so I think a restaurant could work well with that patio space, that the intimate part of it, and I think the downside to Celina, and I know it's not even just Celina. I saw it on a Facebook group for actually Anna the other day. People will sit there and destroy a mom and pop business without a second thought, but they'll take a Walmart or something, screw their online order up 5,000 times and never say a word because they can't get anything done about it. But if they complain about a small business, the owner's going to say something. And I think Celina, like them all, is finical about that. You have to do it with an ounce of grace with these small business owners. And you're on the square. There's going to be road construction sometime for parking. We're going to have power outages. Hopefully Encore can get them solved.
Right.
But we're still in a nation where they're going to exist. Even if they get them solved, outages are going to occur. Waiters are going to be off. There's going to be a bad night. When you're in I'll still say a smaller city, and there's a Friday night football game, you're going to state. Well, all your servers might be gone because they all want to go and see the game, and
right.
So all of it has to be taken with an actual ounce of grace.
I gotcha. I think a little bit of grace around here would serve everybody well, and that's just speaking more to like the state of the world right now. It's such a different world right now than the one that I grew up in, and probably you too. I don't think you're as old as me, but I think that it's a very different world, and we very quickly cut to negativity and all kinds of stuff like that. And that leads me into something I told you that we were going to talk about, and that is the kind of behind the scenes here in Celina. And I think it's fairly well known by people who pay attention. Probably your average person who comes in and, has their kids in sports and, never really gets involved in too much might not even realize it. But we have had, unfortunately, for some time now, I'm going to say, let's go back 4, maybe 5 years, where it's been just really not good. Two very distinct groups here, kind of behind the scenes. You have one group on one side, which I feel like you're a part of, Andy Hopkins, in that group, and then kind of the other side, which would be more like Wendy Wigginton, who also serves on council. And I don't really know where the original separation of the two sides happened. I mean, do you have any idea, like what the genesis of that was? Like, why even form into? We're not in high school, so we don't need to be popularity contest. I almost feel like there's something that caused the formation of two very distinct groups, but for the life of me, I can't go back in history and say, well, here's what it was.
Yeah, so I know. I would say I don't think I'm a part of an actual group.
I would say you're being very disingenuous. Okay. Then you're very, very much a part of that group.
Okay. I would say that it all started the first year Wendy got voted into office. That was the year of COVID. The elections were delayed from May till actually November.
I remember that.
So now these people are campaigning for what's that?
9 months. A long time.
And in the midst of that was the actual police department issues with both Shay Scott and Tony Griggs.
Okay.
And that was kind of, people picked a side.
I gotcha.
You're on the police officer side, or you're on the actual city side. And I think
very
that's where it all truly started from.
Very interesting. Okay, well, it's good that you shed some light on that for me, because for the life of me, I've not been able to figure that out. Like, where was the original rift? And so, things have moved forward now, and I very much have always aligned more with the group that you're in. I think that it's been, I'll just be very honest, a little more in favor of downtown. I'm heavily invested in downtown. Obviously, I want the big retail stuff. I love Lowe's, love all that stuff like everybody else. Go there quite often, and we need those things. It's so much better now to drive down Preston Road and go to Lowe's than to, have to go over to McKinney or to Frisco, like you were saying. Night and day better. But I really, really, really love our downtown and everything that I think it can be. So I align a whole lot more with that particular group. And I just, in the way that things were, that seemed to be more of the group that had the vision for, doing all of the things we've kind of already talked about, converting some of these properties into little boutiques and restaurants and doing things like that. They, I feel like, were more involved, and I could be wrong about this, is just my impression, more involved in creating that like downtown master plan. That's all under the old Sean Terry guard. And obviously I was a big fan of Sean Terry, the former mayor, and worked very hard on his behalf, supported him very much so. And I feel like that group was much more, kind of the architects of that. Not saying that people from the other group weren't involved in it as well. Maybe they were very involved in it, but that was just my impression. Okay. And as time has gone on, I have seen behind the scenes, so to speak, this kind of back and forth, and sometimes, in my opinion, to the detriment of everyday Celina citizens. An example would be, maybe we have a project and this group feels strongly about it. This group needs to get back at this group for something, whatever it is. And so they're going to not support it. And what that does, in my opinion, and I've talked about this with other people on the show, is it creates some sort of loss at some level to normal citizens. And the way that continues, the way that that's allowed to go on, is because they don't know what's going on. You can't fix something if you don't know it's broken. So I have become recently, through no individual choice of my own, very, very in between the two groups. I still align very much with the group that I think you're in, but through political nonsense and them thinking that I didn't support their candidate, and kicking me out of the Chamber of Commerce. I say kicking out, not really allowing me in after a bunch of that sort of thing. So that's a whole separate story. But after all of that, here I am kind of in the middle. I'm like, I don't like what this group did with, wiping all the boards and commissions. I don't like what this group did with all this stuff, and they don't like each other. So there's like all this stuff going on behind the scenes. And I'm a big proponent and a big fan, and I hope you are too, of putting a stop to that.
It truly is, yes. I mean, I would say, I believe what you're saying, disingenuous, and part of the group is, a lot of the people that you align with, you're friends with. I hang out with them. But at the end of the day, hard decisions have to be made sometimes. And the decisions need to be made upon what's best for Celina as a whole. And to a point, not that you need to do what the citizens need best. What is the best decision there, not what's actually best for me,
or for your group.
Correct. Perfect example. The way I look at it is, I am self-funding my campaign, and I don't feel allegiance to anyone at that point. Versus, I know, when we go out to eat, these people got an alarm from me. I'm going to go eat there. They're my customers, so I'm going to pay it back.
Right.
Pay it back to them, and I feel an obligation because of that. So I know if I took campaign money from someone, I just know me. I'd feel an actual obligation to them for it. Now, random citizens want to end up giving me $50, $100. That's a whole other story. I'm not, that's not the obligation.
Sure.
When you're taking money from whether it's other business owners, developers, or whatever it might be, and taking large sums, it's you becoming, whether you are or whether you truly think you are not. At least I know for actually me, I would feel as if I now owed them.
So you'd have a hard time yourself separating yourself from a campaign contribution.
Yeah.
You would take the money that you feel like you owed them something. Do you ever feel that alliance to the group you're in?
No.
Because they support you equally, even if it's not financially. You never feel like, well, y'all kind of helped me get elected, so now I kind of owe you.
No, I truly don't.
Okay.
I mean, what's best for Celina is what is best. It's we have a group that gets together every Wednesday night. It's gotten harder and harder to get together with kids' schedules and sports schedules. But I've sat in that room and they've told me they don't agree with things I've done.
You mean like people from that particular group that we're talking about, or a different
There
group?
are some people from what you're calling the group, but then other Celina citizens and people that we've met through church and other places.
Gotcha.
But even people in what you're calling the group is, we don't always agree.
Right. Is there another group besides the one I think that you're in? Is there another group?
I would say yes. The same way people are seeing that I'm in one, and I won't believe I'm not. From the outside, I would agree. It does appear 100% there is, and then there is
right.
Then there is the other group. And
it just is. You can look at things. You can see. It's not like that's why I say I don't want to be disingenuous with people. Like, if it is, it is. Own it. If it's not, and you say it's not, but then there's so much evidence of it out there. That's where it starts to be like, okay, can we trust this guy or not?
Yeah.
So there clearly is two groups, and I'm right here in front of everybody saying that, I align more politically with the group that you're in. I'm friends with people in both and probably disliked by people in both because that's the nature of, the world. But I think that for Celina, if we're all, and I'm not sitting here doing this for money. This isn't for fun. This isn't for anything. This is a lot of work. I'm doing this because I believe that there's something to offer to the people of Celina. When you've been here for 33 years like me, served the city as a police officer, done all those things, and you just fell in love with it ages ago, well over half my life ago, thank God. I'm not that old yet, but if you think about that, you want the very, very best for it. And obviously, I've loved it enough to invest in it now. Now I want that investment to actually turn into something great for the community. Sure, doing something like opening a restaurant or some sort of a boutique or whatever it is good, but are you ever going to get really wealthy doing that? Probably not. You do it because you enjoy doing it, because you want to offer something to people. There are so many other things I could do. I could just do 100% real estate and make a ton of money doing that. But we want to do something. We want people to come to this house or to one of the others that we have and do life out here and enjoy it. Have a good evening, have a good experience, have live music, have great food, and make memories. That has value. I think the only way, though, that we can move forward is by breaking away from this group mentality that's here right now. And I see a little bit of that. I see, and you can disagree with me if you don't agree with what I'm saying, but I think Brandon Grumbles is a prime example of somebody who's on council right now, and I don't feel like he's in either group because I know he's been this way and I know he's been this way. I don't see him at the parties and events in that particular group. I don't see him at the parties and events in this group, and I see him kind of catching heat both ways. So does he push more one way or the other? Maybe so. Absolutely. I'm clear about where I push one way. If I was on city council, I'd say I'll align more with this. But I think that's one example. And I think if we can get more people on city council that are always going to put Celina first, ahead of their groups, ahead of their loyalties, ahead of their friendships, then I think the city as a whole benefits from that. It's a harder deal for those people. It's a harder deal for you, because you really don't want to alienate and irritate your friends and your group, and especially if they helped, get you elected and they supported you, and they do. They're very much out there in force right now. Andy Hopkins' wife is a prime example. She's very much a proponent of yours. She's, and I know y'all are friends.
We're also best friends.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So y'all are very good friends, and so. I think that's where it starts to get a little concerning. So I'm going to ask you, I told you I was going to ask you a couple of hard questions. Here's one of those hard questions. Can you promise right now, in front of everybody that's going to watch this, which will probably be a few thousand people, that you are going to commit yourself to not playing the group games if you're elected?
100% without a doubt. That goes back to when I was in Boy Scouts and leadership roles, and in college. I'm not here. You're here for the greater good of the group. I mean, I don't mean group. Whether it's group talking about was Boy Scouts in college, and now it's a greater good.
Not the greater good of the group you're in.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. I meant when I was referencing the Boy Scouts and colleges then.
I know what you meant.
But you're here for the greater good of whatever you're a part of. One thing I do, which some people actually don't like, is if we're having a discussion and everyone agrees on the topic, I'll pick the other side of the discussion.
Just
and
for the sake of
argue the other side of the discussion, and we will have the discussion, and we will talk about it, and then we'll go to vote, and I'll vote the other way because that's how I really felt. But you have to have the discussion. Otherwise, you're just we're a bunch of actually yes people just saying yes to everything, and you don't get anything out of that.
Absolutely. I feel like, and I've already asked you about this, and you've already made something clear to me. I want to ask you about it here. You and I were out on the square at Christmas on the Square, and one of our school teachers was with me, and he wanted to get a picture of me and him together. You happened to be walking by at that time. You said you were in an elf costume, which was part of why this happened. But he saw you and he's like, oh, there's Eric. I'm going to go grab him. And I knew that because of all of this group stuff, you weren't my biggest fan in the moment. And he went up to you and asked you to take a picture and you denied it. You said no. And so he walked back to me and he was like, he said no because you're in the picture. That concerns me because you were, and I'll let you explain yourself. I don't want to try and do it, but that affected what you did. Like, you wouldn't even take a picture of me. And you're here now kind of because you have to be. I doubt that you love being here right now, but I'm curious, like, what was going on and why wouldn't you continue to be that way in the future? You know what I'm saying? Because you were obviously, that whole group's opposed to me. They think that I kept their candidate from getting elected last time, which is nonsense. She did that. But how do you make sure that that doesn't happen again? Like, how does Eric say, no more, I won't do that?
I think it just comes down to trust and believe in the person. I mean, it's, I think I have fortunately issued a handful of apologies, and I do owe you one, so I am truly sorry about that night throughout this process, and we've all grown over time. We've all changed. That night, I was dressed up as actually Buddy the Elf. I thought it was going to be hilarious. I had bought the costume to pick up my actual daughter from school on the last day, and I was going to run up and embarrass the living daylights out of her.
That's awesome.
And then I was like, yeah, I'll put it on for Christmas on the Square. And unfortunately, people had already taken photos, and there were already photos on Facebook that were poking fun at me and making fun of me for it that night. And I just assumed it was another one of those at the time.
Right.
And I shouldn't have, and I truly am sorry about that.
But you weren't going to be in the picture. We were asking you to take the picture.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Okay.
Yeah. We were asking you to not be in it, but to take it because you just happened to be the person walking by.
That wasn't that. So it was presented as me as I was wanted to be in the actual picture.
No. He wanted you. We just needed someone to take the picture of me and him.
Oh, got it.
You happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And so, so that was in December, and we're in April. So that wasn't a good night for you.
Nope.
But we can be assured as voters that that kind of thing is not going to be common.
No, and at the end of the day, too, that was a personal decision I was making that had no bearing upon the city or really anyone else out there. I talked about when we go to a business, I'm going to choose to eat at that business because they gave. It's the same thing. I owe the actual citizens of Celina my actual best at that point.
Very, very good. I like that. So talk to me a little bit about some of the stuff that we've been facing right now. Is all of this really, really rapid growth, and along with that becomes a lot of the issues with, not just downtown. But traffic is about to be a real big problem. Water has been a very big problem. There's different things. What do you see as one of our biggest hurdles, one of our biggest obstacles, something that we're going to be facing really soon that is going to be probably something that if you're elected, you're probably going to have to face and help tackle?
I think infrastructure is it, and it's the fact that we don't control the majority of it. It is the water issues and roads being the two biggest ones. The majority of the roads around us, people don't understand, aren't Celina roads. They're actually TxDOT roads.
Right.
People say, oh, the light's out. Let's call the city and fix it. City can't fix the traffic light. They have no bearing.
Right.
What the city has to do to fix it, the city has to call TxDOT to come and fix it.
Right.
And I will say TxDOT is responsive. There was the light at Lynn Stambaugh, I always say it wrong. I don't remember which one.
Yeah.
And Preston was out and it was horrible. I think we submitted to TxDOT on an online form at like 5-6 o'clock at night.
Right.
By 8 o'clock that night, there was a tech stock guy out there getting the light, and the light had been broken for probably 3 actual days at that point, and no one knew what to do about it. So finally reached out and they got it. And water's the same way. With the leadership Celina class, I was in Austin last week, and we're talking to a lot of state lawmakers and their staff. Funny thing is, you get more out of their staff than you do the actual politicians themselves.
Right.
And water is an actual statewide crisis. I knew it before, but it was pretty much more emphasized. The one I learned about was Corpus Christi. Corpus Christi is about to have no actual
Really?
water. They have reservoirs. They're down to like 7%.
Wow.
So desalination they're looking at now. So it's a statewide crisis. And Celina can't fix it on her own. Now wells are being drilled to help with the actual summer influx of irrigation, all that. But drilling wells is not the long-term solution.
Right.
Lake Ralph Hall is thankfully close to actually being online. But also, what goes back to the same issue. We don't control that. We can't go build a lake.
Right.
So it's you're stuck working with the other legislatures and other cities. And talk about the groups, it's the same thing as getting along with everyone, and getting along with the other cities and forming coalitions to go forth and make things get done.
Right. So we've talked about some serious stuff and not so fun stuff, which is, kind of part of what you have to do when you're in politics and running for office. All of that stuff matters. Let's talk about something a little more fun. So I kind of texted you earlier and I said, hey, if you want to bring something or do something. And here's what's really funny to me. Nobody's taken me up on this yet. I keep saying, and I'm not a drinker. I'll taste something, but I'm not a drinker. But I've been suggesting to everybody, all the guys so far, okay, not the girls. I've been saying, hey, if you want to bring something in, an adult beverage for us to sample, or we could do some cigars or something like that. No one's wanted to do that. Everybody's had some totally different idea. And so I proposed the same thing to you. You didn't choose that either. No one's chosen that yet for whatever reason. I guess I'm gonna have to do my own show and sit here and drink and smoke cigars and just be that guy. But you did mention to me one of your passions is doing barbecue. Is that correct? Am I saying that right? Yep. Barbecue? So talk to me a little bit about that. Like, what in the world? Like, I love that. I think that's amazing. Talk to me about it.
So got into it through a tailgating at North Texas when I was going to school. Back when we started tailgating at games, tailgating was actually banned on campus. Wasn't even allowed.
Wow.
No drinks in the parking lot. Parking lot's open 2 hours for the game, and that was it. Now at least the handful of parking spots that I use and a couple friends use are cleared out. Typically, if the game's on Saturday, by Friday about noon at the latest, they have our spots cleared out for us. They know we're going to show up.
Right.
People have joked I should start a catering company. I never would because I'd actually have to work and it wouldn't be actually fun anymore.
Right.
It's just something about it. I like feeding people, bringing joy to people, doing something that I can, and it's kind of like cooking rather than baking. Baking is a science. You can screw baking up real fast.
Right.
Barbecue, it's hard to screw up.
Really?
I mean, you can burn ribs.
Right.
I cooked 40 racks of ribs for the church 2 weekends ago, and I think I got 3 of them too close to the fire pit, and there went $60 in ribs just up in flames and gone.
Right.
But it's hard. For example, we did 10 actual pork butts. 8 of them came out great. 2 of them, after 10, 12 hours, weren't done yet. Went back on the smoker for 5 more hours, came off, and they were perfectly done.
Wow.
And it's just the notion of, it's a lot of also quiet time. You hang out with people, but it's 2 and 3 a.m. stoking the fire and sitting out there with it. No one's out there with you. You have your actual own actual thoughts to it.
Right.
You can experiment with it, change things up.
Right.
We have a family here in town. We brought leftover wings from our tailgates to church. They said they can't get their kid to eat inside chicken nuggets. My actual chicken wings, he loves them, and I should bring them back.
Wow.
So I brought them back the next week. The kid didn't like them because I don't remember what the actual recipe was, and it's very hard to cook the same thing twice.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm the guy that takes the 5 types of rubs and mixes them. And,
right.
Oh, let's try a little honey this week. Oh, let's throw a little bit of this on. Let's throw a little bit of that on. See what actually happens.
Right. Wow.
It's something to it. It's fun. It's joyful. It's something just to burn break up life.
So are you one of those guys that has like some sort of big special smoker or some of that stuff? Like, do you have that stuff?
Yeah, so at home, I run a griddle. We have a pizza oven, a small egg, and a big egg. And I was actually anti-eggs when I got my first. One of my clients had to buy me an egg because I was so anti-egg. I was the offset stick burner guy where you're feeding the fire all night long, one log at a time. And they got me turned on to an egg. And the first time I cooked on the egg, I loaded with wood, I lit the fire. All right, what do I do now? Oh, look, it's staying at 250 degrees and I'm not touching it. Oh, look, it's been at 250 degrees for 5 hours and I haven't touched it. So I like that for during the actual week and stuff when we're at home.
Right.
But I'm still an actual offset guy feeding the fire. We've got a smoker that was handed down to me through North Texas stuff that's been cooked on for probably 30, 40 years.
Oh, wow.
I'm retiring after this year, looking for a new home for it in the tailgating world.
Right.
And a group out of Tyler is building me an actual new, it's a catering style rig. Just to kind of make our lives a little bit easier to get out on Friday nights.
Right.
We got fridges all on the inside. We have drink fridges. So coolers is a big thing. It sounds stupid. Coolers and ice is a massive pain point on Fridays of trying to get out the door.
Right.
We work all day. Now I got to drive and get ice, but I'm in the wrong vehicle. I got a trailer hooked up. I got to get stuff out of the fridges. So that's a whole pain point. And it's interesting having them build it is a process because they're used to building for actual catering companies. And catering companies have specific rules and fire codes that as a personal assistant I don't have.
You don't have all that.
And so he's like, oh, we have to put vendor hoods in fire suppression. Nope,
not on mine.
I'm not paying $30,000. I don't even know what hoods cost. I'm not paying for the hoods. I don't need a hood.
Right.
How are you going to get a food permit? I'm not getting a food permit.
Right.
We have a glass front beverage fridge, like what 7-Eleven has, that's being installed on the trailer that's going to face outwards.
Nice.
And like, well, everyone's going to steal all your drinks. The drinks are free.
Right.
So
this is all the tailgating stuff is what this is. So you're rolling up like with the limousine of like doing that stuff. And you're right. Like when you're tailgating, you don't pay people for stuff. And you don't have to have permits for all that as far as I know. So that's going to be awesome. So you're the guy to go tailgating with. Yeah, so we actually we got hooked up with the actual players' parents probably 4 or 5 years ago from actually Celina. Some of the parents I knew, their kids that went to North Texas. Right. And they started, so now we cook for them. So we're cooking for 30 to 100 people every game. And then the one was the other unit we've been using in the past was an actual trailer. It was the smokers on the back, an actual camper on the front, kind of an actual bullets like it. So you party or business in the front, party in the back. Right. But that became difficult, like when someone like the chamber or church that wants me to come cook for them, or even on the weekend we're trying to do something, because I got to haul this thing around. Sure. It's not meant for camping anymore. It's not really meant for cooking off of tailgating. So that's what we kind of went to. We bought an actual Super C camper, so the family go camping. We have a dedicated use for that. Nice. And then it can tow the trailer. And if I'm going to go cook, like for example, we cooked for the actual band last year. One of their out of town contests. That was fun. We pulled up in the parking lot in Lindale at I think 6 a.m. I pulled up to start cooking. All the other bands are pulling out sandwich trays for the kids and cold cuts, and here we are feeding the band. I think we fed them brisket, pork, chicken, and ribs that day, and they're all like it. I don't understand. It's like that's awesome. I love that. All right, Eric, thank you so much for doing the show. I know this is not easy. It takes a lot. None of this is scripted. You don't know what's going to be thrown at you, and so you're kind of having to handle things like right on the spot. And I respect that very, very much, and I appreciate that. But let's very, very quickly let's tell everybody you've got a Facebook page. Yep. I know you've got that. How do they find you on Facebook? I could say I don't remember what it is, but if you go search Eric Becker for Celina Mayor, I think is what it is. Okay. Yep. So Eric Becker for Celina Mayor. Do you have a website? Yep. It is Becker for Celina, FOR, not the number 4. Not the number 4. Yeah. So say it again. What is it? Becker, BECKER, FOR, Celina. Okay. .com. Yep. Okay. And what about a phone number? Some people want to use a phone number. Some people don't want their number out there. Do you want to share a number?
Yep. So I give a cell phone number, 214-707-8208. If you're a business customer of mine, you have now discovered my cell phone number. Calling the office is still the best way, though, to get help.
I like it. A little disclaimer there. All right. Awesome. All right, Eric, thank you so very much for doing this. And thank you guys for watching this episode. We're always going to try and bring you the latest, the greatest, whatever's going on in Celina, Texas. But today, that's Eric Becker.